Hello folks, and welcome to Paddock Pass PCSRA edition, your post-race weekend edition for the 2020 Eiffel Grand Prix, or German Grand Prix in my state of book, and the 2020 NASCAR race weekend from Charlotte that came out into existing, and it was an interesting race nevertheless. I don't know what to say about this. I mean, it was kind of I don't know how I should say. I don't know if I should say a good weekend or if I should say this is a bad weekend and all that. So it's going to be fun in the way that it is. Let's start at the start with the Eiffel Grand Prix. So the Eiffel Grand Prix was interesting because you know, a lot of teams in Formula One lost both FP1, FP2 due to Mother Nature. Then Lance Stroll didn't take part in FP3 due to illness. I don't know if he tested positive for COVID-19 or if he was just plain sick as normal. They had to get a driver for qualifying because there would be no way they would make it to the start. Fortunately for them, Nico Hülkenberg was on his way to the Nürburgring, and he got there, and they changed the number from 18 to 27, and although he never made it out of Q1, it was very impressive to see him, you know, start at the back. He got a very good start. Of course, the front runners got away with a good start. And it was kind of an interesting battle and all that. Safety car really changed the complexion of the race and didn't hamper Lewis Hamilton because unlike in Russia 2 weeks ago, Lewis did not violate anything on the practice starts as of the controversy penalty he got back at Sochi. And Lewis Hamilton picked up his 91st career win, tying Michael Schumacher for the most wins in Formula One history. P2, Max Verstappen. Red Bull, after the announcement, we talked about this on the weekly show last week, that Red Bull's losing Honda after the season concludes. And a lot of times when you hear that announcement, it either is good or it's either going to be bad. And it was pretty much a combination of the two in that regard. Max Verstappen P2. The guy who's leaving Renault to go to McLaren next year to replace Carlos Sainz, Daniel Ricciardo, first podium since Monaco 2 years ago, P3 in that regard. And that was your top three. Driver of the day went to Nico Hülkenberg because he drove a phenomenal race. And as I said before, you know, with what he did, you know, having little track time, of course, the car didn't go out on track until qualifying, so that was like a big moment in the race and all that good stuff. So congratulations to them. F1 will not be back until in 2 weeks' time, as they will take on the Portuguese Grand Prix, which we don't know what kind of race we're expecting. One thing is for certain, if it's anything like what we saw at Mugello earlier this year, it is going to be very much an interesting fight. We don't know what is going to happen at Mugello. One thing's for certain, it should be fun. Now, let's discuss the NASCAR race weekend. Of course, normally we would have the weekly show today, but like I said, because of the fact that we're not doing a weekly show. This will be in its place for every time I say there will not be a weekly show, but there will be Paddock Pass in its place, which seems to be the case what we saw so far. As I'm going to put this up in the server. So anyway, let's go to, if I have the, do I have the picture, Chase Elliott win or Charlotte Roval picture? Give me 1 second. Let me see. Pull up my map. Layout. Alright. I don't know if I have 2019 layout. I don't know. Let me check. 2019. Let's do Charlotte Roval layout 2019. That's the one I want. If it's the wrong one, I'm sorry. I just can't find a good logo. That's 2018. That's not what I want. Well, I'll probably put a. Alright, let's do this. Let's just. I don't know. I don't have the. I think it's this one. I'm not 100% sure. Unless it's this one, I don't know. I think it is this one. Unless that's the 2018 version. Either way, I'll just put this up in its place. So anyway, since I can't find a good Charlotte Roval deal, so yeah. Going to the Xfinity Series race, where a rubber ducky, by the way, was the only thing that was exciting was seeing a rubber ducky, like what we saw in Dubai, where a rubber ducky ended up winning led the rest of the race, even though that was funny as hell. But anyway, the Xfinity race was really a daunting race because of the fact that we saw history being made with this being a rain race, and we talk about this a lot in the IMSA podcast, that, you know, weather could play a big factor and really could make things a little bit more complicated in the way that it was. And it was interesting. I mean, of course, you had cars off the track, just trying to get used to the grip and all that, and had some crazy things going on. And of course, this is also the recap, just to make sure I don't have to save me a headache for the weekly show when we return next week. So we're just going to only recap Kansas next week, so that will probably just save a little bit of a headache for us, as far as I'm concerned, because trying to do 2 weekends at once is really pointless. So, of course, Brett Moffitt had a tire going down, which actually was a suspension failure, we were told, that broke on his car. And, of course, he was done. Of course, the rain started dropping. Everybody came in for the wet tires, or the tire I like to call it, the intermediate tires, or all that. They need to have like a full wet tire in NASCAR, just to make it interesting. And then everybody was really struggling for grip. Tommy Joe Martins, Austin Hill, and of course Kyle Weatherman went off the track 2 laps before. Matt Mills, Tommy Joe Martins, and Austin Hill both went off the track, which everybody was spinning all over the case, all over the place. Which Noah Gragson, the leader, spun out with the 10 of Ross Chastain. It was really crazy as far as that's concerned. Of course, that ended got the stage back underway. Stage 1 was over. That was won by Casgrella, who had some issues later on in the race. So then, of course, Noah Gragson and Riley Herbst got together. They touched, which kind of, I would say, it was the rain that caused it, in my opinion, because of the fact that we don't talk a lot about rain races in NASCAR, but kind of one of those racing deals where if you're racing in the rain and all that, it really just could upset the car. Of course, that's what happened. Brought out a full course yellow, brought out a 38-minute red flag, which everybody was concerned about lights, because Charlotte Roval does not do a whole lot of lighting, but they made some changes in between the Xfinity and Cup race. More on that later. After the 38-minute red flag, we had a big wreck, which the 16 of A.J. Allmendinger dumped Riley Herbst, which Justin Allgaier spun by himself because there was no contact. Everyone's saying, well, it was Allgaier's fault. No, it wasn't. He just lost it on his own. So, and then Justin Haley was already in the next round, got collected, and also the 90 of Alex LeBay got involved. Or actually, I think it was it Alex LeBay or was it somebody else? It was actually, no, excuse me, Preston Pardish, who actually won the runoffs on Friday. And I was worried he was not going to make it and be the only driver going to the rear because he would miss the driver's meeting because he was running at Road America, which turned out that was not the case. But he made it to the track. Good, congrats to him on his second runoff win and all that. Then we had Harrison Burton stalled his car, had like a mechanical problem. I think the rain really made electrical issues badly, which, by the way, which we also had a one-lap dash for the stage that was completely won by Chase Briscoe. Of course, he spun out on the first in the early going. So, and then the 15, Jesse Little had engine problems. He had to take it to the garage. The 99 kept spinning like CJ McLaughlin because he had a lot of issues, and then 68 stalled. The reason he stalled is he went into the grass and did like this huge puddle, and I always have this problem with my GMC Jimmy out there, where all that water you can't even see, and you had to slow down. So, and plus he was already involved in a wreck, which it was over all that. And of course, when it was all said and done, A.J. Allmendinger won the wet race, which the race was completed in 3 hours and 2 hours and 43 minutes. Actually ended in 3 hours and 18 minutes because if you count the 38-minute red flag, it was 3 hours long. So, and it was nearly dark and made conditions really tricky. So, top 10 results for the Xfinity race. A.J. Allmendinger, the winner, Noah Gragson, second, Daniel Hemrick, third, Alex LeBay, fourth, Ross Chastain, fifth, Austin Cindric, sixth, Cody Ware, 7th, Buford, 8th, Michael Annett, 9th, Brandon Jones, 10th. Couple of shout-outs, Josh Bilicki, 13th, Jeffrey Earnhardt, 11th, Mike Snyder, Joe Graf Jr. got top 15, Jeremy Clements as well. Where did the rest of your playoff finishers? Riley Herbst, 12th, Briscoe, 18th, since he was in the next round, didn't matter to him. Ryan Sieg, 21st, Justin Allgaier, 23rd, Brandon Brown, 24th, Harrison Burton, 33rd, Justin Haley, 35th. Which meant the 4 drivers that got eliminated in that race, they were Harrison Burton, Michael Annett. Despite finishing 9th, it was not enough because he came in this race in a must-win situation. Riley Herbst, despite finishing 11th, was not enough for him to advance, and I'm trying to think who was the 4. Oh, and Brandon Brown. So Brandon Brown, Michael Annett, Riley Herbst, and Harrison Burton were the 4 drivers that got eliminated from the playoffs. in that regard. And then you go to the Cup race, which was yesterday. Was there a race that I skipped in Global? Give me 1 second. Let me go back to my server. I think I skipped a race. Let me check. No, I went agenda. Zolder DTM, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't surprising. But anyway, getting to the Cup race. Hi, one person in the chat, by the way. First time in Cup Series history, we waved the green flag on a wet track, which that was awesome. And it lived up to its expectation. Charlotte Roval has lived up to its expectation as far as that is concerned. Of course, we had the competition yellow. Then John Hunter Nemechek spun, hit the tire wall off turn 6, and took a bit of advertising, which John Hunter Nemechek became the Kenny Bull of the Xfinity Series by becoming Sign Murderer #1. I think he was the only one that was Sign Murderer #1, of course. Which brought out the yellow, and everybody decided to go on slicks, which saw Ty Dillon in the lead of the race, which he won stage 1, which nobody expected that. But it was a big gamble, if you ask me. Then J.J. Yaley brought out the next full course caution because he hit the tire barrier in turn 5. Stage 2 was won by Ryan Blaney. What, Dad? Oh my God. Hold on a second. Timmy Hill went out of the race with an engine failure, so they went to the garage. It was terminal. His race was done. Then we had a debris caution turn 6, which I think was like signs and all that. Then Kyle Busch got into Austin Dillon, which was not good for Kyle Busch and all that. Then debris in turn 4, which I think it's that second right-hander right before we go to turn 5. Then the 15 stalled going into NASCAR 3 and 4 on the oval part. And Chase Elliott, who had to come back in the pits to tighten the lugs, came back and won the race. I'll be back in a second to go over the results for Cup. I'm back, y'all. So, yeah. That's how it went down for Cup. And all that, yada, yada, yada. So, alright, top 10 for Cup for the results. Chase Elliott got the win. He advanced. Joey Logano advanced. He got second. Eric Jones third. Kurt Busch fourth. Ryan Blaney 5th, William Byron 6th, Martin Truex Jr. 7th, Alex Bowman 8th, Cole Custer 9th, and Clint Boyer completed top 10. Where were your rest of the playoff drivers? Kevin Harvick 11th. Didn't have to worry, he's in the next round. Same with Denny Hamlin, who finished P15. Eric Almirola 16th, Brad Keselowski 18th, Austin Dillon 19th. Kyle Busch ran out of gas with about 2 to go, finished 30th. So, not the day Kyle Busch would have liked. And the 4 drivers that were eliminated from that race, Kyle Busch, the big shocker there, will not move on to the round of 8. This is the first time Kyle Busch has been eliminated in the round of 12 ever since the elimination format. Kyle Busch has made it to all the championship races except on one occasion, the 2014 season, where he got eliminated in the round of 12. He's made it to the championship from 2015 to last year. It will not be the case in 2020, as he was the first driver eliminated. The 3 other drivers that got eliminated: Austin Dillon, who finished 19th. Clint Bowyer, despite finishing top 10, was not enough because he was in a must-win situation, along with Eric Almirola. They ended up getting good results, but it was not enough for them to advance, and those were the 4 drivers that got eliminated from that. So, yeah. Also, I forgot to mention, Josh Bilicki blew a tire on the last lap. They had to throw the caution. Well, actually, no, they didn't throw the caution. There should have been a caution. Should have waved the caution, the checker flag, but it's alright. I mean, at least they still race back. Let's get that right, so. So. My thoughts. Of course, I already told you about Zolder. Nürburgring was okay. I wouldn't say it's great, but it was nice to see Nürburgring back on the calendar. Charlotte Roval. Everybody felt like... People said the Xfinity race was terrible. I have to disagree with that. I thought the Xfinity race was exciting. I know some people are like, well, NASCAR shouldn't run races in the rain on road courses. Folks, what makes you think the Xfinity Series had great races in the rain? Like Ron Fellows, who pulled off one of the biggest upsets, winning in 2008. Boris Said, who pulled off a big upset, drag race on the line in, I want to say it was 2010. Yeah, 2010. I thought it was good. I thought the Xfinity race was crazy. I mean, there were some concerns because a lot of cars hydroplane off the track. That's kind of what we expected. Well, I expected. I don't know about any of you NASCAR fans expected when they hydroplane off the track, and that's something that nobody in NASCAR expected. I kind of expected from my point of view because I've seen races in the rain. I've seen it in IMSA races, like the famous race, I think it was either 2004 or 2005 at Watkins Glen, where about everybody hit the dang tire wall and they had to throw full course yellow. But yeah, monsoon conditions, crazy. So Zolder in Germany, I'm going to give it a 7 because why not? Charlotte Roval. The Xfinity race, even though some people didn't like racing in the rain, I kind of liked it because I wanted to see rain chances, and we talked about it on the weekly show as well as the IMSA podcast last week, that rain really could make things a bit more interesting, and I have to give the Xfinity race a 10 because that was really probably one of the best races in the Xfinity series for quite some time this year. One of many good races we've seen this year. Cup, yeah, they ran early in the race in the rain, I get it. It was really, it was kind of what we expected, but the track started to dry off. It was kind of like what we saw at the Hungaroring earlier this year in F1, where the track was a little damp. As the race went on, it dried. The track started to dry, and slick tires was the choice. I didn't expect Timmy Hill to come home third in Stage 1. Plus, I did not expect Ty Dillon winning Stage 1 on a road course. That's something you don't normally see, so it was really exciting. It was really good. I'll give the Cup race a solid 9 because that was probably a good road course race. Probably was better than probably was better than the Daytona Road Course. Even though, don't get me wrong, the Daytona Road Course is only built for IMSA cars and not for stock cars, in my opinion. But, yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. What do you think about my scoring as far as that's concerned? Do you agree? Do you disagree and all that? So, yeah. So, let's get right into this week in racing, of course, the top story news. One came out earlier today. Oliver Askew will not be returning to Arrow McLaren SP in 2021. He is leaving that right after the season. He has sat out the last 2 races due to a concussion he suffered and in that wreck with 5 laps to go in the Indy 500 this year. No word if he's been cleared to race for St. Pete. I think it's next week as far as that's concerned. Lance Stroll, as I mentioned, did not complete the rest of the weekend. We are not sure if he is going to be cleared to race for the race in Portugal in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully, best wishes go out to him as far as that's concerned. Some into the news I'm going to say for next week, or excuse me, tomorrow. I forgot to go over the top 10 results for F1. So it was Hamilton, Verstappen, Ricciardo, Checo, Perez, who's still looking for a ride next year, Sainz, Gasly, Leclerc, Hülkenberg, Grosjean, and Giovinazzi completed the top 10. First points for Haas since Hungary. So, yeah. Of course, they're still trying to supply engine supplier and all that. Not sure if Kimi Räikkönen's going to be back with Alfa Romeo. There's been rumors that Mick Schumacher would be going to Alfa Romeo, probably replacing... I would probably, if I had to take a wager of who Mick Schumacher is going to replace, I would probably more lean towards Kimi Räikkönen than Antonio Giovinazzi, but that's my opinion. Of course, Mercedes had to go without a crew member who tested positive for COVID-19. No big surprise there. This one was the big surprise last week, I found out. F1 agrees Rio de Janeiro, of course, in Brazil, which Rio hosted the 2016 Olympics, would build a brand new circuit for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Now, I've seen this all over YouTube and all over Twitter with the hashtag #SaveInterlagos. They feel like Interlagos is kind of not safe as far as that's concerned. Of course, Interlagos was supposed to contract expires at the end of the year. Of course, they don't know what's going to happen as far as that's concerned with that country. So we will just have to wait and see. Australian GP, the first race that got canceled due to or second race in the F1 calendar that got canceled due to COVID-19, even though you got to see it on my stream. Will open the 2021 F1 season, while MotoGP will be there in its traditional October slot. So there you go. Update on Will Buxton. He did not return for Germany this weekend. So they had a female reporter and Lawrence Barretto take care of weekend warm-up or cold. Or weekend cold, because it was really chilly because they were wearing crazy boots. Lawrence Barretto packed some weird boots, and of course he did that when he went to Russia 2 weeks ago. It was crazy. So, hopefully we'll see Will Buxton back in Portugal in a couple of weeks' time, as I said before. Let me see. Of course, the new supercars safety car procedure goes in effect this weekend at Bathurst. I will say this will be one of the most interesting races of the weekend. I mean, yeah, Kansas is the first race of the new round. The second the second round for Xfinity and trucks, and the penultimate round for Cup. I don't know how that will play out as far as that's concerned. But Supercars, with this being not only the finale, but also the biggest race in Australian motorsports history, if not the biggest race besides the Daytona 500 and the Indy 500 and Monaco and all that, yada, yada, yada. Going to be interesting how that new safety car procedure is going to affect the racing on the track and how that will affect moving forward. So, yeah. Now, here's the big shocker that nobody saw coming. I think everybody was a little surprised. Of course, as I mentioned, Charlotte Motor Speedway added some additional lighting because from the IMSA race, which we'll talk about that tomorrow. Stuart Friesen finally got a replacement by the name of Timothy Peters. Now, it was supposed to have been Christopher Bell, but there's a rule in the NASCAR rulebook states that Cup drivers cannot participate in Xfinity and Truck Series regular season finale and the playoffs, which meant Christopher Bell, who was like 20-something in points, would not be eligible to run. In the past, it would have been okay for drivers like Christopher Bell because, you know, he's still in his first year in Cup. He would have had the chance to race because Stuart Friesen would have had to miss it due to a modified race. So, yeah. Timothy Peters will now be the replacement. Stuart Friesen will be back behind the truck next time out at Texas Motor Speedway. Final time, Texas will have 2 races for Cup because they're moving one to Circuit of the Americas in 2021, which I already know what to expect, Dakota, and NASCAR fans don't know what to expect. That's why you might want to watch the weekly show or watch my little Paddock Pass I'm going to do for now on in its slot for the weekly show. So, yeah. And also probably watch the IndyCar race from last year, and you'll see how tricky the road course is. So I don't know which layout they're running, but we'll see. Now, I want to give you an update on Natalie Decker. I know there's been some people like, what happened to Natalie Decker as far as that? Natalie Decker had to miss 2 races at Las Vegas and Talladega, which was the last truck race, due to the fact she had high blood pressure, which is kind of rare, even though she's feeling awesome and amazing. And they said that she wasn't clear. She will be cleared to race next time out at Texas Motor Speedway, so that's very fantastic news. Sam Hunt is going to be in that 44 truck for the truck race at Kansas, which we'll preview Kansas in just a minute as far as that's concerned. So, get well wishes to Natalie Decker. Something you rarely see in the paddock, but at the same time, there's nothing you can do about it except just live with it and move on and all that. So, yeah. What else? Oh, Hailie Deegan's going to make her Truck Series debut. Of course, she's running the season finale, the ARCA race for the season finale at Kansas. Of course, ARCA is racing besides NASCAR. Which reminds me, I want to congratulate Sam Mayer for wrapping up the championship in the ARCA Menard Series East, so congrats to him. Back to Hailie Deegan. Everybody's saying she's being rushed. I disagree. She's not being rushed. If you think she's being rushed, she's not. The reason she's only running Kansas and Kansas only is because this would qualify her to run mile and a half and possibly super speedways for 2021 with this team, DGR Carsley. That's the team she's going to be driving. So, hi, Sean. Now, she was going to run some races in the Truck Series to get some practice time, but, of course, due to COVID-19 crap and all that, had to wait on making plans. And also, Monster Energy said we wanted to wait until we are ready to give Hailie Deegan a shot in a truck, and they're finally getting that shot this weekend. Now, considering Hailie Deegan is going to do something she's never done in her career, which is pulling double duty, running both the truck race and the ARCA race. Of course, she's running the ARCA race first, then the truck race. This will give her a chance to think what she learns. You know, this is like get some seat time. Because I'm curious to see how she's going to perform at a track she's never raced. She's going to use that ARCA race to probably be a test race, just to help her out. Because, of course, ARCA race is like 100 laps, 150 miles, which is, I think, 2 pit stops, I think. I don't... Excuse me. I belch. Which is like 2 pit stops, I think. I don't know. But as long as she brings the truck home in one piece and just has good respect for the competitors, there's no reason why I think she could end up probably like a top 15 or so. Which, by the way, you'll see who I chose for predictions, which I'll read down to the predictions of who picked who and all that. So, you know, I'm really excited to see what Hailie Deegan can do. Of course, this could be good to use that ARCA race to help her out in the truck race the next night. So that's a big A+ in that. So, which means if I am correct, she is running, I want to say, how long is the what's the race distance for the truck series? Not a roast. Let me look it up. Do not help me in the chat. I can look it up. 200. So it's 134. So she's running 234 laps. Which is if you count, hi Great Lakes, which if you count, the ARCA race and the truck race combined. Of course, the ARCA race doesn't do, they do like, halftime breaks and all that, so, yeah. But, looking forward to see how Hailie Deegan's gonna do. I really think her dad's really excited to see how it goes and all that. Tim Fedewa is going to be the spotter. That's good. Tim Fedewa used to be a driver in the Xfinity Series, and Drew Lickensturfer is a good crew chief for Hailie Deegan. So that's good news to hear. So I'm really excited to see, like I said, how Hailie Deegan is going to perform. In my opinion, we've already seen what Nally Decker is, even though Nally Decker sometimes does well, sometimes does not, so. But I have a feeling Hailie Deegan may have to go to the rear of the field, if I am correct. And by the way, nice derp, J-Ski. Friday, October 16th, why October 16th? Nice derp, J-Ski. Let me look at the ARCA schedule. I think Hailie would have to go to the rear of the field because... Let me check. I want to check to see the schedule. Okay. Let's see. Friday, October. So she would final adjustments. She might make it to the meeting, but she might have to go to the back because I think, of course, she's going to be already at Kansas before the truck series because A, she arrives there Thursday, and B, wait, are they doing qualifying? I don't know if they're doing qualifying or not, but they got an orientation, then they have final practice, so I don't know. I think Hailie would have to go to the rear of the field because she would miss the driver's meeting. I don't know as far as that's concerned, but that's just my opinion, but we'll see. And I love how they don't space the word the and the word ARCA. Is like, good job. It's like, nice job. So I think she might have to go to the back because she missed the driver's meeting because of the fact she ran the ARCA race. So don't blame her on that, okay? Okay. Yeah. So that's what I think, that's what I think is going to happen, all that, so we'll see. So, Bathurst is going to be fun, exciting, and all that, and I think DTM is going to be the same. So, anyway. So, let's go over the predictions for... By the way, if you have not made your predictions, weekly show members, if you're watching this stream, if you have not made your predictions, you need to put them in the NASCAR, predictions chat ASAP. If you need the entry list, DM me, because the Cup entry list got changed because normally I would say a car withdrew, a car got added this time around. So if you guys need the entry list, especially the Cup Series updated entry list, I'll send it to you in your DM, or I'll put it in the chat. Because remember, once the truck race starts the weekend, which, by the way, what time is the truck race? Not a roast. Truck race is what? 4 o'clock Eastern, so it's 3 o'clock my time. So once the truck race starts, like once the pole sitter, who, by the way, is the pole sitter? Not a roast, unless they haven't put. No, they have not put the lineup up. Anyway, once the pole sitter takes the green flag and starts the race, the picks will be locked in. So, want to let you guys know that, okay? So you got time between now and Saturday, because NASCAR picks are due Saturday. Like, picks are due before the truck race starts, because once the truck race begins, the picks are locked in. So, especially if you're a playoff driver. So, plus, it's also a doubleheader because we have the Xfinity race on the same night. Now, the truck race was supposed to have been on Friday night, but they made the change at the last second to let ARCA go first, and then trucks, and then all that yada yada. So, yeah. Anyway, so that is, want to remind you guys, if you're watching this, weekly show members. Of course, if you're not a member of the weekly show and you want to make predictions, you can do so, but it would not count unless you want to join the weekly show, which, that's up to you. Anyway, so that's the updated. I'm not going to tell you who's picking for global, because I'm just going to leave. What, Dad? I'll be back in a second, guys. NASCAR, because once we get into VC, I'll tell you who is what, where in the standings. By the way, the two panelists that got eliminated were Brendan Rogers and Cody Goforth. The big shocker, Cody Goforth. So, yeah. So, as of now, these are the following predictions, and then we'll wrap up PCSRA Paddock Pass. So, yeah. So, for Nathan Orman, for the Kansas weekend, for trucks, he took Sheldon Creed as the driver to win, Matt Crafton as the driver to stay away from, and Ben Rhodes as the dark horse. For Xfinity, he took Chase Briscoe as the driver to win, Brandon Jones as the driver to stay away from, and the dark horse was Justin Haley. For Cup, he took Kevin Harvick as the driver to win, Joey Logano as the driver to stay away from, Brad Keselowski as the dark horse. For David Heller, he said, for trucks, he took Grant Enfinger as the driver to win, Johnny Sauter is the driver to stay away from, and Brett Moffitt is the dark horse. For Xfinity, he took Chase Briscoe as the driver to win, Justin Allgaier is the driver to stay away from, and Michael Annett as the dark horse. For Cup, he took Chase Elliott as the driver to win, Brad Keselowski is the driver to stay away from, and the dark horse was Denny Hamlin. By the way, David stole my Cup pick for driver to win. For Zachary Taylor, for trucks, he took Austin Hill as driver to win, Ben Rhodes as the driver to stay away from, and Grant Enfinger as the dark horse. For Xfinity, he took Justin Allgaier as the driver to win, Ryan Sieg as the driver to stay away from, and the dark horse is Brandon Jones. For Cup, he took Denny Hamlin as the driver to win, Kurt Busch as the driver to stay away from, and Martin Truex Jr. as the dark horse. For yours truly, I took Zane Smith as the driver to win, Brett Moffitt as the driver to stay away from, and Haley Deegan, who's making her Truck Series debut, as the dark horse. For Xfinity, I took Justin Haley's driver to win, Noah Gragson driver to stay away from, Ryan Sieg the dark horse. Chase Elliott driver to win for Cup, Martin Truex Jr. driver to stay away from, and Alex Bowman as the dark horse. So that is your lot for PCSRA Paddock Pass. It's going to be an exciting weekend. Hopefully, will be a lot of fun. So it should be fun. That's your lot. Thanks for following along, and we'll see you next week on the weekly show, and see you tomorrow for the IMSA podcast. For now, from us, we'll see you later. Bye-bye for now.